Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. Welcome to our new show. We've been out of commission for a while. Tina's been pretty sick, and lots of things going on the planet right now as well. But she's just coming back into it, so we're going to see how long she could stick around. But we will be doing this every week now, and we get longer and longer each time. But I want to say Tina Bird is an incredible person. She's being recognized around the world right now. Her book is out. Please, everybody, read it if you want to know about abduction. But we'll be getting into every aspect of what's happening around her, around me. And we'll go into a lot of other things in the next couple months as well. But please, greetings, Tina. Say hello to everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tina Bird from Southampton here in the UK. And as Tommy said, we're back. It's been, I think, just under a year we've been off the air, but we've been on the air together for about 3 or 4 years now. So that's an accomplishment. And I'd like to say hello and welcome Tommy back as well. So like I said, we've been off for a while. We've missed so much and we missed all our viewers. So thank you, guys. Please come on to the show. You can email Tommy. Tommy will put his email up in a minute and you can come on. Email us, and I'm not sure if there's a link in the chat room and the live chat room for you to come on. But like Tommy said, I've been ill, we've had problems, but we're back. And there's lots we've missed and lots been going on. I've still received emails and kept in touch. Like from last year to this year, I know the year before there was what they're calling sightings, and drone sightings above American bases. Now it's been seen off of nearly virtually off the coast of America. So there's lots been going on in the US and Hawaii and other countries, not just the US. I've been seeing these drones and lots of sightings here in the UK. So it's just not exclusive to America. There are other places around the world where it has been seen. But if you're one of those places we've not mentioned, then please jump on in and let me and Tommy know. So anywhere around the world, just please let us know your location, what you've seen, and especially if they're referring to them as drones, we'd be very interested in pinpointing that. Since last year, we've had another Capitol Hill meeting about the UFOs in the US, and there's been lots of coverage about that, and they're moving forward. Hopefully there's another one this year, but we've yet to see action. They have these people on, witnesses, but nothing I can see has changed. I think no laws and amendments, no other supervision's been put in. So we will follow that closely. And if you've got any questions about that, guys, please come on. And if you have any events up and coming, any events, UFO events, talks, speeches, gatherings, please let us know. We'll advertise it for you and let everyone know. We'll give you a shout out for that. Apart from that, in the planning, in the pipeline, I've done nothing really, obviously, due to ill health. There are a few things coming in for 2025. So I'm looking at maybe writing part 2, going a bit more in depth about my abduction case. Now it's come to light. There's been the UFO scene, and there was, if you look on my page, I wish I'd put up again later. I've been vindicated somewhat this last year while I've been off the air. The CIA and the American government came forward and they've made a video. It's on Netflix, I believe, and it says everything I've said that's happened to me. It does say that these objects are seen inside orbs, like giant bubbles. They put you inside a bubble and orbs to take you places, and they've said yes, they've seen these giant bubbles with objects in them flying about. So that's kind of vindicated me a bit. So people said, oh no, that sounds silly, it's ridiculous. It only sounds silly to you, but it doesn't sound silly because it's actually happening and going on and people witness it. So I'm a bit happy about that. I shouldn't be, but I am. Also, there's other abductees have come forward now and said the same kind of thing I have. Yes, it is going on. Yes, it is real. People will believe you. Just come on. You're not laughed at so much now. People do listen, and there are places to reach out and help. So we're here again for that. Other people have reached out to me throughout the year, like I've said, and I've kind of done a little bit of follow-up for that. Yeah, so apart from that, I'm going to let Tommy jump in a minute. But so we're back. We're going to be every Thursday at this time. If you have any questions, photos, guys, please send me and Tommy your photos. Tommy, like I said, is going to put his emails up in a minute, which will be absolutely brilliant. Tommy's put his emails up. Send your photos in. I've been taking photos in my back garden like crazy of the sky. Please go on to TA Bird Encounters or Tina Bird on Facebook and look at the pictures, guys. Just look at the pictures. And there's been lots of witnesses to these pictures being taken. And there's a couple of videos as well. My partner's been taking it when he's out on dog walks with his friends. So there's lots of pictures out there. And that's just from our little part of the world. So I'll be really interested to see what you guys have had. Tommy, obviously, across the island and all across America, it's been very, very big and very in the news at the moment, apart from the fires and bad weather. Whether that is a factor with these supposed drone sightings, but I don't see how drones can come out of the sea and fly in the air and avoid our aircraft. But they're really super duper ones. Apparently, we don't even have yet. So there is that. Excuse me. Other things. I'm just trying to think of other things that have gone on. There's so much that has been opening up in the UFO world. I'm interested to see the talks and lectures going on this year, and scientific breakthroughs. I learned something the other day. It was a science program to say about origins of DNA, and they can trace certain ancestry back, but they can trace the periods of time, how long they believe DNA has been around for. Well, the Earth, as we all know, is about 5 billion years old. They said that human DNA, they estimate to be 7 to 9 billion years. Well, if the Earth's 5 billion years old, that means we existed 2 billion years before the Earth kind of evolved. So that's going to open up another can of worms. So we like to see where that goes. There's a few other UFO films and mainly documentaries that have come out. I think there's another documentary that's come out. And again, things that I said in 2015, 16, things I experienced years ago that are now happening. Yeah, there are other people that have been taken, like me, abducted, and have said things that they've said to us, like the others are coming soon and not supposed to be here, but they are. Other things like the wars, the dates of the wars they gave me, you know, it's not just me, other people. So, yeah, I'd like to see more people come forward, and I'd like to see justice, actually, for abductees, across the board. It's been hard, not just for me, and I've seen the toll it has taken on other people, their lives, their family, their co-workers, you know, extended family, friends, and yeah, it's very difficult. You get ostracized as well, but you know, I think that veil is now lifting. So yeah, like I said, I'll be very interested in closely following and watching all events this year across the UK, America, and other countries. Don't forget, me and Tommy here are for you guys. I lecture, Tommy lectures. So if you'd like to email Tommy or me, please email us. We'd be quite happy to come along and lecture for you, give talks. Tommy has a massive lifetime of information and pictures, as do I. I've got pictures of the sky, new evidence. So I've had x-rays, broken bones, broken feet, scans. So I've got new evidence coming to light with that. So I've got they found objects inside my body through scans, etc. So I now have those pictures. So I might do a picture of evidence to go along with my my book, The Truth About Alien Abduction. So that's available on Amazon for £10. Or you can get it for free. You don't even have to buy it. You can get it for free if you're on Kindle Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited, get it for free. It doesn't cost you a penny. So it's about getting the word out. And the actual experience for me, and I've learned a lot of people and a lot of government people say yes, the hybrid program is real. People have come forward in the government and said that, but again, I'm all about, we are victims. We're not we're not claiming to be victims. We are victims. If you're taken in a war and tortured, that's a war crime. If this is happening across the board, across the world, you have so many millions of victims, and it's your own people in your own country, your taxpayers, your workers, your loved ones, your family, friends, your citizens are being taken and used. And who's given them compensation for that? Nobody. Who's apologising for that? Nobody. Yet it's going on. You let it go on with no explanation, no apology, and no insight as to the future and where this could lead us. Tommy, over to you.
I just want to add something. I'm going to keep letting you talk, but right now, since we got a new president coming in, they're already talking about taking away funds for the disabled vets. I mean, so many horrible things are going to be happening this year and coming. We need to respect the people that fought for us and give them the medical that they deserve. And they want to take that away. They're taking it away from children's programs. All this is going to change because Musk got involved with this and rearranging the whole atmosphere, along with Trump met with Putin, and Putin told them about UFOs and aliens. And so where's it going to go? I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But I want Tina to explain her story because I feel she's the most important UFO abductee. Here's the reason why. I've been in it all my life. I was working with abductees when I was 20 years old. And these women had actual proof that their child was taken from them, all right, before it was born. I mean, I saw sonograms from the hospital. The hospital said, "Oh, you're not pregnant," the day she went back after she had the sonogram done. All the real truth is there. But it's pretty well hidden because most of the people I dealt with weren't out to make money, weren't out to become public. I mean, they're grieving losing their child. I can just say this, 2 of the families that I know directly were allowed to see their child 1 year later. And then they were told they'll never see him again. So Tina's story about that is even incredible. So we're not here to expose lies. We're here to expose truth. And there's a big difference. Now, the last thing I'll say, there's a word in the UFO world, and they call themselves experiences. And we went over this many times. It means they're programmed by aliens or the government. All right. And I'm saying, oh, I know this, and I did. Not one of them has proof of that. Not one of them. Never mind actual physical evidence. Tina has all that. She has more evidence about everything that she went through. All right. Even a video the government scoffed and let anybody see. But people, we deal with truth. We deal what we know is truth. And I'm not going to bring anybody on the show that I do not believe in. I mean, if somebody wants to come on and debate us or something, that's a different story. But if they want to come in and make believe stories, I don't want to hear it. Neither does Tina. We deal with truth. We deal with what's happening right now. And it's crazy. And it's mind-boggling. And the government can't hide it anymore. And it's not about one person I'll get into later. But I'm not going to say his name right now. But I'll give it back to Tina.
So, guys, like I said, it's been the whole story from beginning to now. Coming forward, like Tommy said, that is probably, after like 40, 50 years, you come forward. And there's a reason for that, which I've explained in previous shows. But I realise now, like Tommy said, when they cut back to victims again, people that have gone out there and put themselves out. And that's not just happening in the UK, guys. That's just in America. That's happening in the UK. And I think across the majority of the world, all these cutbacks, what's the reason? What's coming that we don't know about? They've got this asteroid coming, what is it, Apophis? That's supposed to be coming close to us in 2029. That's only 4 years away. It may hit us. They don't know. If it doesn't hit us then, it's definitely going to come back and hit us. So it's going to hit us one way or another. Are they preparing for that? Is it earthquakes? I mean, Africa's falling apart, splitting into 2. Wildfires and problems in the US. Geography, with the undercut background volcanoes. Hawaii's having problems with volcanoes. Other countries, Iceland. Is it tectonic movement? Is there a bigger object coming towards Earth? Is it part of our natural cycle? Lots of things going on, but cutbacks, across the board for no reason. And they do affect everyday people, but there's more going on than meets the eye. It's the same as abduction. More goes on than meets the eye. It's not till you're older you understand, one, what's going on. Two, you have the tools and the ability to talk about it when you're older, to find help, and just to get it out. Once you get it out, your story, your account, you feel better. But there's other things still going on behind the scenes. I think every abductee, I went to one of these yearly meetings in up further in the country in Birmingham, and they asked the abductees there, we were there, and they said about telepathy and things like that. And we all of us, we had a little vote. We all voted that they think telepathy is a side effect of being abducted. We all probably possess it, but when you're abducted or taken, perhaps not all of them can, everyone can connect to it. But in my experience and the others that I spoke to, when they lean over to talk to you, they're seeing if you can speak to them. They're seeing if they can make that connection. So, that's something, an experience that, abductee can tell you about. Other abductees have different experiences because we're all individual people. Everyone sees it in a different way, but it's a kind of same routine and pattern, and that's what investigators look for, quite rightly so. I think the more information and the more people that could come forward, the better picture that they can actually build. So guys, if you've been abducted, you've got a true, honest account story, you don't need to be afraid. There's loads and loads now of researchers. David Hodgins, a fantastic one. There's researchers out there and investigators that will listen to your story. They need this information. They compile it and build a better picture. Yes, it's a long process. They question you lots about it, quite rightly so. If you get drawings, pictures, scans, x-rays, anything like that, that all helps towards your case. And it builds a better picture so they can see and understand what's gone on. And also, it's like some people aren't allowed to get up and walk around. I never was. I believe it was just the one time that I've got up and walked around the first time when they showed me that baby, when they showed me the pods, and then again on the ship where they showed me that they was taking these eggs. So so that's an experience. But everyone else may not have had that. Male abductees have different experiences to what females have. So male abduction is very important to get a better view of the other side of what's going on. And they seem to have a closer bond or showing the children, whereas they don't tend to do that as females, rather than them just at a baby stage and that's it. As males, I believe. I was another male abductee I spoke to. He got to see his child when she was a teenager. So that would probably be quite cool. So that's not an experience that I've had. I've seen them all as babies, as tiny embryos. And I've been in the link. So the link that they all talk about when they're in the link, I've been in that link. It's incomprehensible. And I got a couple of seconds, I'm not sure, I'm just saying seconds, it could have been longer, it could have been shorter, but I've been in their link and see how they communicate. Not every abductee's had that experience. They've taken me to other places, other planets, to show me different things. Other abductees may have gone to different places, seen different things, have the opportunity to ask more questions. Some people have a closer relationship. I don't think I did. I didn't have any names. Just the one that knows me, and that's it. So I don't know any names. I don't know any origins. But I think I asked a question it's very difficult to understand if you've asked a question using telepathy unless the other person responds. And if they do respond and they obviously can't speak, they take you there and show you. So you get a better picture, whether that's in your mind's eye, they physically take you, put you in something, and then take you and put you in a giant bubble and take you somewhere. So their understanding of what conversation is. That's a different view the investigators get to see. So every small bit of evidence you can talk about and tell them about, the more in depth it is. Like someone said to me, oh, how do you know you were on a table? How high up were you? I said, I presume it was a table. I couldn't see it at first because when you're laid down flat and there's a light above you, you can't see how close you are to the ceiling. You couldn't see the ceiling and you don't know you're off the floor. It wasn't until they set me up to about like a 30-degree angle and you have a wider vision. And these things are small because when I was laid in bed and one of these things was by my bed, they weren't taller than the bedpost. So you get a better, and it was 2 foot away from me. If I could have moved, I could have grabbed out, reached out and touched it. So you get a better description of skin texture, what they look like, colouring, and then the height. And the height. So when they say, "Oh, how are you on this bench, this silver bench?" Well, if this thing was stood over me, I could only have been about a foot or two off the floor, because these things had their length to stand next to you and lean over you. So that's something else. So they now, in my case, the height of the table. So that's something else. You're not just, when you're giving your experience or your story, you're giving critical information that could help future abductees, that can build a better understanding of what's actually going on, what takes place, and the equipment these are using. These are more identified factors, if you like. So there are all different types of factors, but like I said, the more people that need to come forward, men, women, with their cases, with their stories, the more like times, pinpoint locations if you can, if you're with anybody, what's happened after. And then you have like the short-term effects or longer-term effects, like a lifetime. Now I'm older and what's happened to me has affected me medically and my partner. So there's different things that can affect you with it. So again, come forward. They need to document everything you have. So there's a lot to say about abductees and coming forward. And then there's a psychological side, but we'll probably go into that next time. And people say about the spiritual side and things like that. But there you go. But at this point, I will hand it back to Tommy. And but please come forward. Tommy's email's on the screen. If you have any questions, send them in. I know it's our first time back and we lost lots of viewers while we were up there, but I want to thank you for everyone for well wishes and especially with my health. But now I'm back. I want to see you guys more. Tommy has been great. He's let me speak all this time, so he may go on a little bit after. But next week, same time, guys, we'll be here for between 30 and 40 minutes. I want to try and get back to our hour if I can when I'm feeling a bit better. So, yeah. But please email, message, send in your pictures, recordings. Come on the show. We can interview and ask you questions. I think that will be absolutely brilliant. So if any of you guys are listening or watching, Tommy's email's on screen. Email and be on our show next week for us to chat to you about. Tommy, can't hear you.
It's been a real pleasure, Tina. Hopefully, we'll be getting longer and longer in your strength, and everything will be getting better. But till next time, think about what you want to talk about, and we'll come up with some more topics. But I got 2 things that I really got to get into before the show closes. But stay well, Tina. Give me a call. Text me if you got anything important to say to me or want to ask. We can.
Oh, right. I will. Thank you, guys. From Tina Bird from Encounters in England to Tommy in Hawaii. I thank you all for watching, and we are back. Thank you. Welcome to 2025. And I'll see you next week. Thank you, guys. Bye, Tommy. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
All right, Tina Bird is a great person, going through hell every which way. I don't know how much you want to get into what's going on with her, but when we first met, started getting into our show, I realized something was wrong with her. And I made her go out and buy a Geiger counter. And she did. And we proved over and over, every show we did, that she was radioactive. But she was having all the symptoms of radiation poisoning. And it's pretty incredible how bad it was. But whatever happens to her is not good. So I give her respect for surviving everything she went through already. But now what she said she has is a little bit sad. But my viewpoint, and I told her over and over, the aliens are keeping her alive. She'll get into it. She has ships over her house all night, every day, every night. They're watching her. So I can go on about that, but I'd rather let her speak. So where I'm going to go, people, is way beyond what most UFO people can or will do. I live a hardcore life. I actually send letters to every famous person, every speaker out there, debating them, wanting to debate them. But here's the thing, they are all afraid to talk to me. I was doing UFO work with a friend for many years, and we split up over something really weird. But he changed. He gave up on the UFO world, and he's into being a so-called spiritual person, for a word, directly Jesus' disciple. But people, when they sell out to the government, get whatever they want. But not like a person that I want to talk to before I get into anything else. His name's Steven Greer. He's probably considered in a lot of different things, the founder of UFO exposure, bringing it out, and all these other words. But I will say this under what I know, what I experience, and what I deal with. He's one of the biggest storytellers out there. All right. And everything he says is not even close to the truth. I can go on. I don't want to do a show about him because it's not even worth the time, because it's all lies. But people believe it. He's taking people to Congress. And they're still fighting over trying to expose UFOs. The persons I did all my UFO work with, we put pictures up every week of 4 or 5 pictures that were shot within a short period of time of real UFOs, not Tic Tacs. Steven Greer is probably, in my viewpoint, one of the most evil people out there in the UFO world, lying to the public and doing horrible things with what he says and brainwashing and programming people. Has a great following. He's a great storyteller. But if you tell people what they want, they'll follow you. If you tell them the truth and it's not what they want, they won't follow you. So I know we don't have a lot of followers recently. But again, when you put the truth out there, there's a few people that might want to hear it or listen. Now, she talks about abductees. When I was young, my life started when I was 6 years old, but when I was young, I learned hypnotism at I started, 12 years old? All right. And then at 14, I was hypnotizing everybody in my neighborhood. But by then, I took it further. I didn't want to be a stage hypnotist. And I went into past life regression for a while. I was the first person to really do it publicly. I put the cards out and never made it big doing it because I only did people that I knew and close friends. Then I did psychic implant removals, which was beneficial to people that have been abducted, that don't want to get abducted again. All right. So there's many things that could go on and did go on then when I met these women that were abducted. One woman was abducted 3 years. Within 3 years, she lost 2 children. Taken, she was shown them and said that they'll never see them again. But people, we weren't writing books and we weren't trying to make money off of that. These speakers in the UFO world, and I'm going to expose them because they get paid up to $20,000 to do a weekend seminar. All right, to talk about what they think. Richard Dolan, to me, I was in his show, on his show site for over a year, paying for his site, trying to talk to him. He never got back to me once. I was on a Skinwalker Ranch for about a year or so. Not one of them people on that site would get back to me either. In my time frame, and this is real, 16 of my good friends were taken out by you-know-who. I can use the word Men in Black because it's one word that people accept in one way. But there's 2 Men in Black, the government Men in Black and the alien Men in Black, and they're both separate. But here's the thing. My best friend, I grew up with from 12 years old, worked for NASA. He designs all the parts for the space shuttles. Well, I met him at a UFO conference after many years. And when we got together, I said, you want to see pictures of UFOs and stuff? Well, the government told me I can't get involved with that kind of stuff. I said, but he was at a UFO conference. I said, you want to see stuff? So I brought him over to my friend's house. We showed him a lot of pictures and everything else. And then he talked to me about, he wanted the private community. I said, that sounds great. He says, because I can make anything that breaks, fix it with my machine, and we don't ever have to leave it. So we're going to have a pool party 2 days later. And at that point, I got messages on his phone, please leave a message. He disappeared. His whole family disappeared. His children were disappeared from school, all within 2 days. All right. And that's just one of my friends, one of my good friends. And he worked for NASA. But I can go on about stories like that because I said I lost 16 of my best friends. One was in jail, just got out, died right before Christmas. But many of them, really, the top speakers in it, all are gone. So the top speakers in the UFO world, all the ones that have been here a long time, well, they'll give you great stories and great lies and this and that. The truth is, this is the ultimate truth that people need to understand. Aliens, no aliens are good. Well, there's good and bad people in the United States. Could be, no, they're not. We're all the same. We kind of all think the same. I mean, if you were a government or a president and had a planet and you were going to send a spaceship up out, who would you put on it? Good people, bad people? Now, I mean, when Christopher Columbus left, he took a lot of prisoners and everybody else. But when you send a ship up into space, how much they make, I don't know how they pay for it and things like that and other planets. But when they send a ship past the United States or to the United States, who do you think they put on there? Thieves and robbers and murderers of their race? Well, they don't have feelings and emotions, people. First thing. They do have sex with humans. The Enochs had sex with humans as well. But the other thing is, the things that they'll never talk about, because they want people to slowly accept the programmed idea that the government's going to cause a false flag alien invasion. Make us fear that. And that's a lie. All right. The people I dealt with all had the highest clearances in the government. I knew one person from MJ-12. His whole family was taken out, and then they took him out. And the second most important UFO story was Phil Schneider. In the end, they tried to say he committed suicide. Read his story. It's real. And there's people that want to downplay it, whether the government pays these people to downplay things or put them off or whatever. It's basically, his story is real. And I can tell you the story of what I was involved with pertaining to Tesla. He worked with DuPont in New Jersey. The first Army base in the United States was Picatinny Arsenal in New Jersey. When I moved to Hawaii. So when I was living there, they created super soldiers, for real. I had 2 people that worked inside there. All right. And those super soldiers are somewhere, but they're like 8 feet tall, so they can't be walking around on the street. From what I know, unless they pretend you're a football player, but change their eyes, their eyes glow red. But in the interim, they have been doing stuff way beyond what anybody wants to realize for a very long time. Now, anything the government exposes is anywhere from 25 to 50 years behind. I mean, they did it 25, 50 years ago. So they don't release the technology that they have at any level. And now we got a serious problem with Mr. Trump getting elected. Now, I'm going to split this in 2 ways. Trump met with Putin, but Trump did not listen to what Putin told him to do. Now, this is a fact, and they don't talk about it. Nobody. I don't know what's wrong with people, but it was done on Russian TV. Mr. Putin said on Russian TV, live, I want Mr. Trump to come out and tell the world what really happened at 9/11. Okay? Then he said, I want him to tell the truth about what the United States is doing with aliens. Okay? But now, what he said after that, he said, we are working with many alien races. 2 of them want to destroy the planet. How would he know that? All right? I'll tell you, the United States government, Russia, and Germany have all been working on that aspect because we had 3 major wars in space. Seriously, I saw 2 ships get blown out of the sky in Hawaii. And that's not the battle that I'm talking about, the 3 battles that we had. It was Tesla's technology that saved one of the wars from happening with aliens. But a whole different story. I don't want to get into that. And then I can go into the other story, what Tesla was doing in New Jersey with DuPont. All right. That was probably the most important UFO story to ever come out, because basically after that happened, the Philadelphia experiment happened. And when they did that, they did the worst thing possible. They opened up a vortex in the sky. Not like these people claim and say and do. Oh, I could open up and there's a ball of light coming out and all this stuff. No, this was a vortex that put a danger on the whole planet. It allows everything to come into our realm, the dimension, whatever word you like. And at that point, they are letting all kinds of negative entities, be creatures and beings, come in. Now, I work with somebody. I'm not going to say his name. We're at a battle, and he hates me for some stupid, ignorant reason. But I'm honest. I'm real. And I don't make up stories. All right? I don't lie, period. All right? So, I mean, people, I don't care. Do what you want. I'm telling the truth. I die in my truth. My truth is God, period. Anything below that, it's a lie, if you believe it to be more important. So, here's the thing. When we were working up in Monaco, New Jersey, that's where Tesla was working with DuPont, we filmed many different things. Strange creatures, entities, whatever, plus UFOs, ships. We had these massive clouds that would just follow us around, these red eyes that would pop out of the trees and stuff like that. Oh, we had pictures of many things. I was able to film football orbs. And they look like a white football. But we went public, person I'm talking about, and I went public in New York City. And I guess it was 1997, and went public about orbs. We said we can film them anywhere. And we did a show in New York City. I don't know, a couple hundred people there. I was shooting pictures while he was talking. And then we showed the pictures afterwards, and there were orbs in almost every picture. And one lady had this beam of light coming down her body, and I tried to catch it before everybody left, and I never saw her leave. So, but we were the first people going public about orbs. I know there were some other people that were dealing with that, not publicly going out to the world saying orbs, blah, blah, blah. But orbs are many things, people, and they're here in large numbers now. I mean, there's other things that were out there called, well, somebody called them rods. Jose Escamillo, he's gone now too. But he started stealing our videos that we shot and things like that, that the person I'm with shot. But in the interim, all these things that we film and take pictures of are not spots on a camera, moisture in the air, and bugs and everything else. Next week, I'll put a picture of me dancing with hundreds and thousands of orbs around me. It wasn't raining, nothing like that. But the idea of what's going on right now is critical. In New Jersey, don't forget they even mentioned Piccadilly Arsenal, and all these drones flying around everywhere. Now, they have many abilities, but they can't fly at light speed or anything like that, and they can't do super incredible, outrageous movements, which drones can do a lot of cool things, but they're chasing these orbs. They don't know what they are, where they're coming from. I'm talking about big, little, tiny orbs. They're all different sizes. Doesn't mean they're any different. Size is limited to our perception, and they can change the size that we perceive them at. I got a picture of an orb, maybe like 3/4 the size of the picture that it was taken of me. All right, then I have a picture of an orb. I mean, we shot like an orb. I mean, when you see a branch going through it and things like that, we can kind of prove so many different things about them. But it doesn't matter to me anymore. A lot of things that I did when I was with the person we worked with was more about trying to bring an alien to the White House. Never happened. All right, but it was more about trying to get the world to believe that there's something else here that's very evil. Aliens are not good. They have never did one good thing for any human race that lived. All right. The stories from the Anunnaki on are all lies. People believe in the Anunnaki, deal with them, say they're working with them. They're not good. Never were. Okay. But we have 9 races here. I mean, there's like a total of 27 races, but the 9 important ones are the evil ones that can do damage and that control anything and everybody. Now, if you're a good person versus a bad person, who wins in a fight? The good person? Depends what kind of weapons you have. The bad person will have many weapons, but the good person will probably have nothing. I give a scenario: have a stadium with 10,000 people in it, and then have 200 bad people with machine guns and ray guns come in there. Who's going to win? The good people? What if they were 100% Christians? All right, but even Christians don't follow their own spiritual laws. I'll get into that one day when I do spiritual work talking. But getting back to these orb things, they're all over. Now, in Hawaii, we have so much going on here in the UFO world. I never got down to the ocean at night. I always wanted to, but I hate to say about the crime and everything else. My partner won't let me go down there. I have a friend now who lives right next door. We're going to go down there together. I just bought a scooter to drive down there, so we get down there in 5 minutes. But most of the people that live on the ocean here in Hawaii, the homeless people, also the orbs going in and out of the ocean. All right? And there is an alien base here. So I'd love to film that and put it out there publicly. But again, if you talk to 1 out of 10 people, 2 or 3 will say they. I walked down the street and I met this couple. I started talking to them, and they said, "Oh, we just watched these orbs hanging over the ocean. Then they went down in the water and they came shooting out and up into space." They're not drones, people. China's not here with their drones. If they were, it would be World War III automatically. All right. If we send a plane over Russia, he will shoot it down. He will not let us, or anybody, spray chemtrails over his country. But again, when you step into another country's space without getting permission, it's an act of war. I mean, the whole thing with those balloons last year or the year before, 2 of them weren't balloons, they were UFOs. I mean, 1 came over Hawaii as well. I deal with everything I know, and my experience runs greater than 90% of everybody on this planet. Now, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, I'm not coming out to lie, to tell you stories, anything ridiculous that's, well, they're going to make us this. They're going to make us 6-dimensional beings. They can't raise your level of awareness spiritually. They don't have any. They don't have a God. So how could they teach you about a God? All right. So when they teach people, and they work with the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Egyptians, all their hieroglyphics are lies created by aliens. Even the Emerald Tablet was one of the oldest tablets on this planet. And that was written by an alien, people. And he gave us much knowledge on that. If you ever read it, I studied with a medicine woman for 26 years, but 2 years she made me study about the Emerald Tablets and teach us about it. And there's a technique and all that. It's a technique to go through ascension, but I don't know anybody that has gone through it other than 2 people in all of history. All right. But when we got where we're going now is horrible. With Mr. Greer promoting all this bullshit, all right, over and over. There's no bad aliens. This is all a fake alien government invasion. All the stuff he's saying, he never was next to a real alien, no matter what he says. He also lied a really ridiculous lie. He said the government offered him $3 billion to walk away from the UFO world. He had to be completely delusional to say that. I know a famous person, famous writer. I don't want to bring him up on my show, but he wrote a book, his bestseller for 2 years. I had lunch with him in front of 13 people, made him stand up, and he said he killed 44 people for the government. Now, I did a show with T.J. Morris for 12 years. Her husband had the highest clearance in the Army as well. And his story was incredible. I don't know how much of it totally, I believe, but on his dying bed, he said he did fly a UFO for the president. He did kill 139 people for the government. So, these people that are high up, you think Steven Greer is worth 2 cents to pay even $1 million or $1,000 to take him out? Delusion. Remember when David Wilcock said, "Oh, they're trying to kill me," and he was crying and all that. People build up stories. If they kill me, they kill me. That's where I am. Am I going to cry about it? Am I going to stop teaching or preaching or anything that I do? No. My life's dedicated to God and do the best I can bringing the truth out to this world. I'm not claiming to be anything other than a person that had bad and worse experiences. Aliens are not good. They don't do good things to people. So when they get abducted and programmed, oh, it was great. They took me here and there and everywhere. Well, what do you got to prove anything you're saying? Now, another famous speaker that came out was a musician. All right, now he's in the UFO world. Claimed the aliens showed him the past, present, and future. Well, his future never came true, and he's lying about everything he said. All right. Now, it's easy to program a person. When I was doing hypnosis, I could make anybody do anything I wanted them to do. I worked with Kreskin, the most famous hypnotist in the beginning of hypnosis, to an army hypnotist who was doing training in the army about that, showing that people can be hypnotized to do anything that they're told to do. And the hypno society says, oh, you can't make a person do anything they don't want to do. It's called change the way they think. Kreskin worded it, the power of suggestion, all right, which is the way Hitler controlled the whole country. If you brainwash people like Mr. Rumpo did, you're on TV 100 times a day, every single day. It affects your subconscious mind, hearing something over and over and over. Why do you think people accept a lot of the stupid lies and programs that were fed? Children are programmed to believe in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the boogeyman. And their mind's so pure, and they're being squashed with horrible lies when they're born. I think that's pretty pathetic. Then what do they teach them to say? The first word, goo goo, gaga. I mean, I worked with a little girl. She was 3 years old. The first word she ever said was Tommy, and the second word she ever said was car. I mean, her father didn't like that. But people, programming is very easy to do. And you have to touch the level that they're at. Now, people that are completely crazy, limited awareness, are really hard to hypnotize. And the smarter you are, the easier it is to hypnotize you. The reason why, when you put a thought out there and say, think about this. Oh, I'm thinking about it. Oh, I got to play football later. Oh, I'm going to go swim. It's the hypnotist I worked with was working with children. And I was a magician at the time. And I said, can you teach me things to do in front of these children so I can keep their attention focused? And I did. And we traded teachings and work. All right. So when I was doing psychic implants removals and all that, I created it myself. I met a person. I'm missing time. I thought, let's find your missing time. All right. Then I figured a way. I went through crystals. The medicine woman I studied with for 26 years, people. She was the first person to bring crystals out in the United States. All right. So I learned a lot of different ways. And I learned everybody has a very limited truth. So when I say, what makes you spiritual? I haven't had one person tell me anything good or real about that word. Oh, I go to church. I'm religious. And what's that mean? I'm spiritual. What's that mean? What do you do? What can you do that you didn't do before you became spiritual? You know, well, I could read people's minds. Well, I was a high priest when I was 16. I was a high priest until, I guess, 21, 22. I challenged any high priest, including one of a mob. All right? I don't know what it is when I saved my brother from being abducted and things like that. I wish I could do more. I wish I was doing a lot more than I'm doing. If I had money, I'd probably do a lot more. But what's happening now, I don't think I could do much to stop it. Getting back to Trump. All right. Is he going to claim a lot of things? Well, when he met Mr. Putin, which he did, and Putin told him about that directly rather than being on Russian TV, what did Putin do the next day after he met? I don't know, what did Trump do the day after he met Putin? Created the Space Force. And he doesn't believe in aliens as well. But here's the problem. Now, I don't want to go too much longer, but Mr. Greer is feeding everybody this bull. Now we got Musk coming out, the egotistical person that wants to go to Mars, all right, wants to build a space city in Texas. Guess who's paying for all that? The United States is. Musk is becoming a multi-trillionaire. Right? There's only one other one supposedly on this planet. All right. So if he's becoming that rich, he's making how much? Find out how much money he made just last year alone. While he's giving Trump $60 million a month or $80 million a month, and then he's bribing people, giving them millions of dollars not to vote for anybody else other than Trump. We're in trouble. That's against the law. It should be against the law. They should have closed the elections for that alone. People, Biden did his thing. Every president gets in has to be the victim of the people that control them. Look at the people who Trump hung with. But he was great friends with Epstein, no matter what he says. All right? He was friends with Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner threw him out of the club and said he was sorry for ever being friends with him because he put him on the cover of Playboy magazine. People, the lies should soak somewhere in his brain what kind of a person is. You don't go to the Playboy club to what? You don't go on a Lolita jet for what reason? And I mean, what, Trump's in what do you call it, land now? So, people, are you ready for the truth? I promise you, every week we'll try to put a little more real truth out there. What's going down? What's happening? All right. Now, beware. I don't believe in psychics in any great way. I mean, I could have called myself a psychic, but no. A healer, and all those words, they all use the power of your mind, not theirs. I mean, Jesus went around healing people, but he didn't say, I heal you. He says, your own faith healed you. So where you are with your own consciousness is very important. What you do with that is important. And there's good and bad. No, everything's not acceptable. When you realize the Ten Commandments were written by Moses, the most highest black magician that I know lived on this planet. I mean, let's see, I don't want to get into anybody else. I'll skip that part, but he did miracles of what kind? Miracles that hurt people, anybody, is wrong. It's of the dark side. And there's no such thing as good and bad people, or they're all bad people, or Russia's bad people. Iran's bad people. What's the United States? Bad people to them. War has always been here since Atlantis was destroyed. Now that you can say thank you to the Anunnaki, the reptilians, and the Greys. Other draconians were around as well, but all the other races weren't helping mankind in any way. All right. Now, all the way up to now, when the white man came into the United States, what did they do? Slaughter over 50 million native people. The Constitution, that what everybody's claiming is important, is created out of a lot of native teachings. And on top of that, it was only for the rich. After they created the Constitution, native people were outlawed from it. I mean, women and black people were too for many years. In 1920, they were all brought back and allowed to vote and things like that. But before that, if you weren't rich, you couldn't vote. That's why they have the most stupid thing now where what? The electoral vote? Do you believe that? And people think it's really important or really part of the Constitution. It's really part of a programmed sick mental idea of people which control the country. I can tell you stories about George Washington. I mean, I did psychic research with a top channel, a medium at that time, 2 years. In a Gilmore Mansion in New York City, the most haunted house in the United States, basically, definitely New Jersey. But George Washington had fights there, and they slaughtered the people on the mountains and everything. But guess where it was? Right smack in the middle of Harlem. All Harlem was horse stables for the cavalry. All right, because he could see the north and the west and the east river from there, from the point where the Jumel Mansion sits. Madame Jumel moved in, and here's something very few people on this planet have a clue about. She was George Washington's illegitimate daughter. I can go on and on about that. I mean, Aaron Burr and Hamilton had to duel over her. He called her a sleazy whatever. All right, and he got shot. But Hamilton lived in the Jumel Mansion, which became haunted. All the people that died there, I spent almost 2 years with a friend, my top medium friend, releasing all the spirits that were there. The only one that's there is Madame Jumel. If it's there, and I hadn't been there 20 years. But she said she won't leave until they tear the house down. And they almost did, because it cost so much money to keep it up to par, considering it was the first major house built in the United States. All right. But all the people that died there are gone. I know there was 2 TV shows on it as well, and they had people doing the Ouija board and the psychic and all this stuff. It's all bull, all storytellers. Like when Houdini died, he gave his wife a message. People tried to come up with fake messages and say they deal with Houdini. He spent his whole life trying to prove psychics were real because he wanted to see his mother. People, what I'm going to say right before I leave, everything you could possibly think of is probably real. Because it exists or world, whatever you prefer. Leprechauns, angels, deities, demons, creatures of all kinds, the air fairies, and things like that, trolls, not drones, sorry about that, but all these things that are walking around on this planet, most of them are leaving. There's nothing for them here. And the people, no matter what religion you follow, I'm going to tell you something. Aliens are going to probably rule the planet, but they're not the rulers of your soul. I mean, you're going to hear stories, they'll take your soul and turn you into this and make you this. No, they can't. Not if you're following a spiritual path. But what do you think ghosts are and spirits? They're souls that have no direction, no guidance to go anywhere. And when people say, I'm going to meet my brother and mother and sister in heaven, it's the greatest program that exists out there. You don't stay in the astral plane, which is what called heaven is, for a long period of time. Now, Jesus taught about that, but he was talking to people that had no awareness. They had multiple gods, never understood a single God, never mind understood what Jesus was teaching. So that's why it's not in the Bible. And I'm going to say this, I have become aware of all my past lives back to Atlantis. That'll be a story one day, but right now, what you think and feel, there's one thing that controls this physical world. It's not Lucifer, people. Never was. Lucifer was the highest fallen angel. With many other angels, they all fell, but they didn't fall into hell, because this is hell. And Lucifer's not here. The ones that follow Lucifer, Luciferians, well, Danny Brinkley, all right, Saved by the Light. Well, he was a Luciferian many hundreds of years ago and admitted it. You don't get anywhere. You might get somewhere in this lifetime, but this is what Satan, the devil for another word, keeps us here for. And it's not like he takes things away from you. He gives you things to stay here. One last thought on that alone. Bob Dylan did a video on that. He said he sold his soul to the devil, which you really don't do. You just give up on God. But when he did, he said every song he wrote after that became the bestseller, no matter who he gave that song to. And he's one of the top writers in the world. All right? So, people, think about that. Think about why you're here, where you're going to go when you die, and what happens after that. You're going to sit around with your family at the dinner table and talk about what? Oh, this body's better than the body I had. I'll tell you, it's a nice place for people that are just moving one step up. Because you pick an age, 24 to 36, usually. You can pick any age you want. But at that point, you pick an age that you feel the best or you think you're the best. But you're not forced by the physical body anymore. You don't need a car. You don't need a plane. You can go wherever you want. You can do almost anything you want. That's positive. And that's a hard word for most people. You're not going to be drinking, doing drugs, and all that kind of stuff there. Sex is really limited because the next dimension or realm you go to, if you unfold, you're losing male and female. And I can go into that about why there's so many gay people and everything else. There's reasons for everything, people. Just because you don't know it doesn't mean it's not real. So, I'm sorry, I gotta throw this in before I leave. Musk built a spaceship. It cost, I think, $1.2 billion. All right? And it can fly faster than any plane on the planet right now. or jet, and it's a major weapon on there as well. He's got a laser weapon on it. So how does he have a right to make a weapon that's his, and what can he do with it? Could he sell it to Russia, China, Israel? If it's mentioned, if they give it to Israel, if they give it to blah, blah, blah. All right, it's top speed that people know about, and he doesn't know about much at all. He doesn't know anything about going to Mars or any of that stuff. But now the United States built the ship, $44 billion. Who paid for it? We all did. But it has every weapon Tesla invented on it. So it will make the United States number one again once the people see it. All right, Tesla's little spaceship is going to be cool. I mean, it could actually change war right now, but when we release ours, it should be out this year. They might not already, they might pull back, but they already exposed it, what it looked like. It looks so cool. But we're in for a super crazy ride. But I don't see anything really positive coming out of it. All right. Why there's an underground city that nobody talks about. Why aliens have a base next to every army facility on the planet. How's that? They're high in a different level than we are. Technically, thousands of times more advanced than we are. Spiritually, zero. Why do you think the world's still messed up? If aliens were here in Atlantis and after that, why didn't we become better? We only became worse. Atlantis, we didn't eat animals. We didn't kill people. You couldn't lie, couldn't cheat, and you didn't have to talk either. So when that was taken away, mankind was taught to kill, sacrifice, torture. Well, I'm going to leave it at that, people. You don't have to believe anything I say, but I'm saying this from my truth, from my experience. I had 5 death experiences, spent 45 years traveling out of my body, and now it's time. I mean, I'm not hanging on to this body anymore. This world's going to crash, and nobody cares. Till next week, we're going to have topics. We're going to get in. I'm going to get into each thing I talk about a little more hardcore. Tina's not really at a spiritual point right now. How can she believe in a God or angels when she's getting tortured and all these different things happening to her all her life, suffering with every part of her body right now? I consider her one of the most important people in the UFO world. Not a storyteller, not a liar, suffering from the actual effects of being abducted. Now, radiation's a real thing, people. Aliens are radioactive. I mean, spacesuits and all that. I mean, all the things that the government knows is about radiation. Think about that. We'll get into it more. Tina's just coming out of being in the hospital and all those kind of things. So give her time. She'll get more into talking. But till next Tuesday, till next week, next Thursday, we'll be on. I will be doing a special on spiritualism and work with that as well. I feel if there's somebody that wants the truth might listen. But please, if you ever stuck it out and get to the end of this, please send a link to everybody you know. It's a starting point where we get started to get into the hardcore details. The truth. If I die tomorrow, realize why. All right. 16 of my friends disappeared. 1 in jail still. 1 in a nut house still. Think about that. Even though more people accept UFOs, aliens, and everything else, but all my life I was quote crazy. I am crazy. I'm going insane. Everybody else is sane, going crazy. Big difference. Peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life. Don't stop until you find it. Don't give up. And realize this isn't the end. This is only the beginning. People reincarnate hundreds of times, people. It's not like, oh, I reincarnated. No, it's hundreds of times. From the first time you came down into this realm to the time you leave. And all that knowledge is in within soul if you ever tap into it. So, till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. I'm not a liar, storyteller. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I got no superpowers, even though psychic abilities exist within all of us. But you cannot use them now. They would destroy the balance of the planet tenfold. All right. Till next time.